Hi everybody, good evening. My name is Brittany Fan and this is my presentation on Ruth Ann Rothfeld. Here is some of her educational and professional experience. She has a BA in psychology from Purdue University. She has a master's and PhD from Nevada University. She's also BCBA certified. She's currently teaching in Southern Illinois University and she's affiliated with the Behavior Analysis and Therapy program at the university. Her field of study includes humans. She studies stimulus class, verbal behavior. Her participants in her study are people with developmental disabilities and people who participate in educational studies and classroom studies, which include people with disabilities and participants for grad and undergrad programs. She has collaborated on numerous books. Some of the books include Applied Behavior Analysis of Language and Cognition with Mitch Fry, Jonathan Tarbuck, and Linda Hayes. Another book she has collaborated on is co-edited Derived Relation Responding Applications for Learners with Autism and Other Developmental Disabilities, A Progress Study to Change, with Yvonne Barnes. She has also been actively involved in journals and won numerous awards. She's been on the edited board of Journal of Behavior Analysis, the Analysis of Verbal Behavior, International Journal of Psychology and Psychological Theory, European Journal of Behavior Analysis. She has also won numerous awards, including she co-founded and was the past president of Mid-American Association of Behavior Analysis, has been awarded Rehabilitation Institute Teacher of the Year in 2006. She got Teacher of the Year for Health and Human Services, and in 2010, she got Researcher of the Year Award of College and Educational and Human Services. So let's go to some of the works that she did. Some of the work that she did that I was interested in had to deal with people with disabilities. So the first article that I found out and I was interested in was the role of overt and covert self-rules in establishing activities for daily living for adults with mild developmental disabilities. So this is a study with people with mild disabilities. It showed them specific skills to doing laundry. Each of the skills met the person's specific skill set, and after they mastered their laundry making abilities, they got to go on a job interview. So this was interesting because this actually got to show two things. You got to learn how to do laundry, and you also got to learn how to go on a job interview. The next article that I found was called Creative Activity Schedule for Using PowerPoints. So this was an interesting article because it used PowerPoints in a classroom. The children got to create a schedule and use it for different schools and classrooms in order to use technology in the class. So this assisted the students with struggling in different ways to view and participate in the class. Another article that I found interesting was called Evaluating Stress Levels of Parents with Disabilities. This was an interesting article because it discussed the stress levels of raising children with disabilities. This article discussed the impacts and coping skills of parents with disabilities. They discussed specific stressors, and they also used a variety of participants, including income levels and different variables. They did not just focus on one specific income level. So another article that I found interesting was called Derived Requesting Skills in Adults with Severe Disabilities. So this was an interesting article because it was a picture and response exchange. So the person was given the word, and if they gave the correct picture, they actually got a reward. The reward was candy. I would have loved to participate in this experiment. The next article that I found interesting, which also had to do with people with disabilities, was called some refinements of methodology examining the influence of overt and covert self-rules of task completion. So this was another change study. This was a 22-step analysis which had to do with creating a smoothie. It assisted a person in developing an activity of daily living of making food. Some people don't think that that's an important skill, but for people with disabilities, it's a skill that takes them a while to learn, and sometimes they need a lot of help. So Ruth Ann Rutherford has had numerous different studies with people with disabilities, people in an educational setting, and a lot of different studies that have influenced the way that people are seeing now and how the way people are taught. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint now. So here are some of the mock interview questions I would ask her. How did you determine the populations that you used for your studies? Are there any current researchers who influence your studies, and how is that illustrated in your papers? Who was your role model that interested you in the field of applied behavior analysis? What is one subject that you currently have a study on and would modify it to include a different population? And finally, which was the hardest population to work with? And would there be anything different that you would change about the previous study you did? So here are my references. I think Ann Rutherford has been a major influence in the field of applied behavior analysis. She has had numerous books and publications, as well as she has participated in numerous conferences. She's actively teaching and is influencing the field of behavior analysis till today, and we're studying her because her studies influence the way that people learn, how they can learn, and different tools that they can obtain. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and have a great rest.